In a world where ancient secrets lie buried beneath the wreckage of a forgotten alien vessel, two unlikely allies stumble upon a discovery that could change humanity forever, if they can survive the deadly forces determined to protect it. As shadows of betrayal loom and time runs out, they must navigate a labyrinth of danger, deception, and unimaginable power. But what if the real threat isn't just outside the ship, but lurking within? Prepare to uncover a story of courage, betrayal, and secrets that could ignite the universe itself. Are you ready to step into the unknown? Please wait. Before we start, tap that iCard button in the top right corner and smash that subscribe button. Right now, hit the notification bell so you're first in line when new stories land. Alright, let's dive into the story. Jack Harmon squinted at the flickering sensor display, tapping the screen twice with a rough, calloused finger. The damn thing had been acting up for weeks, an annoying, persistent flicker that made him want to punch something. He muttered under his breath, "Come on, you piece of junk," and adjusted the scan sensitivity again, hoping this time it'd give him something worth his trouble. The chum bucket creaked softly beneath him, a battered salvage vessel that looked like it had been through every scrap heap in the belt and come out the other side barely holding together. It was about 20 years old, an antique but reliable enough for a guy like Jack. He shifted in the worn pilot seat, rubbing his eyes and glancing out through the porthole at the chaos of the asteroid belt. Tumbling rocks, some the size of small moons, spun lazily in the void, a chaotic maze that most modern ships refuse to risk navigating without automated guidance. Jack liked it that way: fewer ships, fewer eyes, fewer rivals, fewer rules. He liked flying manuals, kept him in control. At 52, he'd been around long enough to know that automation was just another way for someone to screw up. Machines couldn't read drift patterns like he couldn't feel the vacuum's currents like he did. That was his edge. His weathered face was etched with lines from decades in the black. His steel-gray hair cropped military short, and his eyes, sharp, tired, but still alert, scanned the flickering display. A faded photograph of a woman, smiling in better days, was taped next to his console. A handful of tarnished metals and a battered poker chip sat beside it. Reminders of a life long gone slipped away one disappointment at a time. Jack's jaw tightened as he watched the screen. The scanner beeped suddenly, breaking his thoughts. A signal, a strange, anomalous reading from an asteroid about 2 clicks off his port side. He muttered, leaning closer. Well, what are you hiding, little rock?" His eyes narrowed with curiosity. "Come on, show me what you've got." He guided the chum bucket closer, hands flying over the manual controls with practiced ease. His autopilot had died 3 years ago, and he'd never bothered replacing it. Why bother? Machines couldn't anticipate the tumbling dance of the belt like he could. His years in salvage had taught him to read drift patterns, to feel the vacuum's currents as if they were ocean tides. He flicked a switch, firing the anchoring harpoons with a practiced flick of his wrist. The magnetic clamps engaged with a satisfying thunk, reverberating through the ship's hull. Jack's lips curled into a faint smirk. "Docked," he announced to no one. Just a habit from his fleet days when every action, no matter how small, demanded verbal confirmation. Those days had ended long ago. A dishonorable discharge, a busted nose, and a broken record of bad choices had sealed his fate. He pushed himself up with a grunt, bones protesting, and headed toward the airlock. His EVA suit was patched so many times it looked more like a quilt than proper gear. Still, he trusted it. Old but reliable. When something went wrong, he could fix it himself. No waiting for some proprietary diagnostic system to tell him what he already knew. Outside, tethered securely to the chum bucket, Jack activated his suit's magnetic boots and stepped onto the asteroid's surface. The cold, gray rock was rough beneath his boots, and he pulled a battered drill from his belt. "Let's see what you're made of," he said under his breath, pressing the sonic excavator against the surface. The drill bit into the rock with a deep, satisfying vibration. Jack had always preferred mechanical tools. They never failed you because of a glitch or a foreign firmware update. He worked steadily, drilling into the asteroid, monitoring his sensors for any signs of unusual composition. After 10 minutes, he confirmed what he suspected, rich with rare metals worth decent credits on the market. But then, the drill lurched forward suddenly, breaking through into emptiness. Jack's heart rate spiked. "Figures," he muttered, yanking the drill back. "Find a good vein, hit a void pocket." He widened the hole carefully, clearing debris with deliberate movements until he could shine his light through. What he saw made him freeze in place. Inside the hollowed-out space was not a natural void but what looked like a manufactured structure. Smooth, sleek walls with embedded panels, unnatural in their perfection. Jack's pulse hammered in his chest. "Well, I'll be damned," he whispered, voice tinged with awe and suspicion. He enlarged the opening further, enough to squeeze through, and activated his suit sensors again. The atmosphere inside was old but breathable. An odd, dusty air filled with faint traces of life. He hesitated only a moment, then pulled himself inside. The interior was eerily quiet, illuminated by the faint glow of his helmet light. His light swept across the room, sleek, dormant consoles lining the walls, their design familiar yet strange. Jack approached one of the panels cautiously. Nothing responded when he touched it. No power, but the ergonomic design felt right, comfortable, intuitive. That unnerved him more than anything. Alien tech that felt like an extension of his own body. His hands brushed over the controls, searching for anything salvageable, anything worth a payday. In the corner, he found a cylindrical device about the size of an old thermos. Smooth metal, no seams, no buttons, no obvious controls. When his gloved hand touched it, faint lights flickered across its surface, pulsing like a heartbeat. Jack grinned. "Well, hello, beautiful," he whispered, carefully extracting the device and slipping it into his pack. "You're coming with me." He cast one last glance around the room, mentally marking the site as a potential treasure. If this were valuable, he'd need to come back with better gear, and he'd make sure no claim jumpers followed him. Climbing back through the opening, he headed for the ship, heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and dread. This wasn't just junk. This was something big, something that could change everything. And Jack Harmon, seasoned and stubborn, was just getting started. Chrono Station loomed in the distance like a rusted relic, its spindly arms and bloated central hub casting long shadows across the debris-strewn approach corridor. Jack's battered ship, the Chum Bucket, slipped into docking bay 47 with a groan of protesting hydraulics. The station's atmosphere was thick with industrial fumes and the scent of old oil, a reminder of decades of neglect. Jack muttered under his breath, "Well, at least this place has character, or maybe just a good layer of grime." He shook his head, amused by his joke, then handed over his ID for clearance. The docking officer, a gel-like creature with overall eyes that shimmered in the dim light, glanced at his credentials with a bored expression. "Jack Harmon," the gel muttered, scanning. "You're late. Maintenance bay requires an extra fee. Standard procedure here." Jack slapped his credit chip onto the scanner, knowing better than to argue. Yeah, just get me in. I got a feeling I won't be here long." The gel nodded, motioning him toward the far end of the bay. Jack weaved through the cluttered corridors, past towering stacks of crates, abandoned machinery, and the occasional tired-looking Tarko worker who eyed him with suspicion. The Tarko were a hulking, bone-crushing species known for their muscle and short tempers. Jack kept his distance, knowing better than to cross them unless he wanted a face full of claws. He finally reached Growl's rare finds, a cramped, cluttered shop nestled between a malfunctioning protein processor and a suit repair kiosk. The place was a riot of mismatched objects, glowing screens, and the smell of old rubber. Growl, a massive Tarko with mottled gray skin and deep-set eyes, sat behind a reinforced counter, peeling a thin strip of metallic foil from a damaged circuit board. "Jack," Growl rumbled, voice like gravel. "Still flying that old coffin of yours? Thought you'd be dead by now." Jack grinned, pulling a battered satchel onto the counter. "Still kicking. Got a few things for sale, some or samples, a couple of power couplings. Nothing fancy." He slid the items forward, watching Growl's eyes narrow as he examined each one. Growl grunted. 30 credits each for the ore. "Nothing special since the guild started flooding the market with their junk," he said, voice rough. Jack leaned in, smirking. 32. "I need a little extra for the trouble I went through." Growl's small eyes gleamed. "Done. But I heard rumors. Something's stirring out there. Corporates sniffing around, hunting for artifacts from the lost expansion. Maybe you've got your eye on the wrong prize." Jack raised an eyebrow. "Lost expansion? That ancient myth? Yeah, I've heard the stories. But mostly, I think they're just ghosts and legends." Growl leaned back, voice lowering. "No. There's been more activity lately. Docking at unlisted outposts, recovery teams with gear that shouldn't exist for scrap. And they're after relics, tech from before the collapse. Some say it's a race to find the lost secrets of the old universe." Jack frowned, considering. "Ain't that just a fairy tale? Old tech buried beneath layers of dust." Growl shrugged. "Maybe. Or maybe it's something more. Keep your eyes open, Jack. There's more going on than you realize." Jack hesitated, then reached into his satchel and pulled out a thin, blurry image. "I found this in an asteroid. Looks familiar, doesn't it?" Growl leaned in, squinting. "What is it?" "It's a fragment of something old but not natural. I think it's part of a larger piece. Maybe even from a ship, something ancient." Jack's voice was serious now. "I don't know what it is, but I think it's worth a lot more than credits." Growl studied the image, then nodded slowly. "Interesting. If you're serious, you might want to check out Meridian Market. That's where the real buyers are, if you can find one brave enough to take the risk." Jack nodded, pocketing the image. "Thanks, Grow. I'll keep that in mind. But I've got a feeling I'm sitting on something bigger than just some rocks and junk." Growl chuckled softly. "Just don't go getting yourself killed over it, Jack. These days, everyone's after something, especially the ones with the guns and the big ships." Jack grinned, slipping his satchel back onto his shoulder. "Don't worry, Growl. I've been through worse. Besides, what's life without a little danger?" He turned to leave, glancing back at the cluttered shop. His mind was already racing with possibilities. This find was just the beginning. Whatever it was, it had the potential to shake the entire galaxy, and Jack Harmon was determined to get to the bottom of it, no matter what. Jack stepped out of Growl's shop into the swirling chaos of Chrono Station's main corridor, the hum of distant engines and the clatter of moving cargo filling the air. His mind was spinning with possibilities, but his stomach reminded him he hadn't eaten in hours. He made his way toward the station's makeshift marketplace, a sprawling maze of stalls hawking everything from alien tech to rare minerals. As he navigated through the crowd, he spotted a familiar face. Lena, a scrappy trader with a reputation for knowing everyone and everything worth knowing. "Hey, Jack," Lena called out, waving with her usual mischievous grin. "Long time no see. Still panning for treasure in the junkyard?" He grinned back, rubbing the back of his neck. "You know me, Lena. Always hunting for the next big thing. Heard you've got some new stock." She nodded, her eyes twinkling. "You could say that. Come. I've got something you might find interesting." She led him to a corner stall cluttered with glowing trinkets and shimmering tech. "I've got a little of everything, but what caught my eye today is this." She reached behind a pile of scrap and produced a small, oddly shaped device wrapped in a protective cloth. "What is it?" Jack asked, leaning in with a mixture of curiosity and caution. "Don't know exactly," Lena admitted, peeling back the cloth to reveal a sleek, metallic object with strange symbols etched into its surface. "Found it in a wreckage site. It's old, really old, and it doesn't look like anything I've seen before. Could be nothing, or it could be something big. Jack's eyes narrowed. Looks high-tech. Could be alien, for all I know. Lena shrugged. That's what makes it interesting, isn't it? I'm asking for 50 credits for it. But I'll trade if you've got something good. He studied the device, weighing his options. The relic's design was unlike anything he'd encountered, and the symbols hinted at something beyond human tech. 50's a bit steep, he said. But I'll take it. Call it a finder's fee. Lena grinned. Deal. And hey, if you find out what it is, don't forget who sold it to you. Jack tucked the device into his coat, feeling a flicker of excitement. As he turned to leave, Lena's tone turned serious. Be careful out there, Jack. I've heard whispers, stuff about people hunting for artifacts like that. If you stumble onto something big, you might want to keep it quiet. He nodded, already lost in thought. The station's chaos faded into the background as he made his way toward the docking bay. His mind was racing. What if this relic was part of a larger puzzle? What if it was connected to the mysterious structure he'd found in the asteroid? Outside, the air was thick with tension. The station's corridors buzzed with activity, but Jack felt a strange stillness beneath it all. He quickly checked his gear, making sure his weapon was loaded and his suit was sealed tight. The relic was secured in a small, reinforced case he carried on his back. His instincts told him this was just the beginning of something much bigger, something that could shake even the most seasoned explorers. He paused at the docking bay, staring at the battered ship waiting for him. The chum bucket looked like it had seen better days, but Jack knew how to navigate its creaks and groans. As he climbed aboard and sealed the hatch, he whispered to himself, "Time to see where this leads. One way or another, I'm about to find out what's really out there." His heart pounded with anticipation, knowing that whatever secrets this relic held, it would change everything, if he could just unlock its mystery before someone else did. Jack's ship, the chum bucket, lurched into motion as he punched in coordinates for the asteroid belt where the wreckage lay. The navigation was rough, the ship's old engines protesting every step of the way, but Jack was used to this kind of chaos. As he set course, he kept glancing at the relic device Lena had sold him, its symbols flickering with an eerie glow in the dim cockpit. His mind raced with questions. What secrets did it hold? Was it connected to the strange signals he'd been receiving? And most pressing of all, who else was hunting for artifacts like this? Minutes later, the asteroid belt loomed ahead, jagged rocks and floating debris creating a treacherous maze. Jack eased the ship into a cautious orbit, scanning the debris for signs of the wreckage. When he spotted it, a battered, half-buried ship tangled among sharp rocks, his stomach tightened. This was no ordinary crash site. It radiated a strange energy, an unnatural hum that seemed to vibrate through the ship's bones. He activated his suit scanners, the HUD flickering with readings. "Okay, Jack," he muttered to himself. "Time to see what you've stumbled into." Carefully, he maneuvered the ship closer, then activated the cargo drone to carry his gear. As the drone drifted toward the wreckage, Jack grabbed his plasma cutter and prepared for a cautious descent. Climbing out into the vacuum, he grabbed his helmet and stepped onto the debris field. The wreckage was a twisted mess of metal and wires, but something about it felt alive, like it was waiting for him. He moved forward slowly, every step deliberate. His scanner picked up faint signals emanating from the core of the ship, a strange pulsating energy that seemed almost organic. Suddenly, a faint whisper of static crackled in his helmet comms. "Jack!" A voice crackled, distorted and distant but unmistakably familiar. It was Lena. "Lena," Jack responded, voice tense. "What's going on? I thought you warned me about these relics." "Be careful," she replied urgently. "That ship's not just a wreck. It's got some kind of defense system, and there's more. People are already here poking around, looking for the same thing you are. You're not alone in this." Jack's eyes narrowed. "Great, just what I needed. Any idea what kind of defense?" Think energy shields, maybe automated drones. I've seen similar tech before, dangerous stuff. Whatever you do, don't get too close to the core. He nodded, even though she couldn't see it. Got it. Thanks for the heads up. He kept his distance from the pulsating core, studying it with wary eyes. The symbols on the relic device Lena sold him now felt more ominous, like a key to something much bigger. Then movement caught his eye. Shadows flickered behind a jagged piece of metal. His hand instinctively went to his gun, heart pounding. Someone else was here, and they weren't friendly. A flash of metallic movement, quick, precise, then silence. He took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. Looks like I've got company, he muttered. And they don't look like tourists. He pressed his back against a stable piece of wreckage, scanning the shadows for any sign of who or what was lurking. His mind raced. What was this ship hiding? Was it part of the lost secrets Lena had warned him about? And most importantly, how many others knew about it? Jack knew one thing for sure. This was only the beginning. Whatever lay beneath those strange symbols, whatever power the wreck was guarding, he was about to find out, and he'd better be quick because the clock was ticking, and the stakes had never been higher. Jack's pulse hammered in his ears as he crouched behind the jagged remains of the wreckage, eyes darting between the shadows and the pulsating core of the alien ship. The figure he saw moments ago had vanished, swallowed by the chaos of debris and darkness, leaving only whispers of movement. His hand hovered near his sidearm, tense but ready. The air felt thick with danger. Every flicker of movement could spell disaster. His mind raced, trying to piece together what he was facing. Whatever or whoever was out there, they weren't just scavengers, they seemed to be hunting for the same thing he was. Suddenly, a metallic clang echoed nearby, sharp and deliberate. Jack froze. From the shadows, a figure stepped into view. Tall, cloaked in a dark uniform, their face obscured by a helmet. The figure moved with purpose, scanning the wreckage with piercing eyes that seemed to cut through the darkness. Jack's grip on his gun tightened. "Who are you?" Jack demanded, voice low and cautious. "This site's off limits, and I don't want any trouble." The figure paused, then responded in a gravelly voice. "Easy. I'm not here to fight, just looking for what you're after. Name's Rex. I've been tracking this relic for weeks." Jack's eyes narrowed. "Tracking? You mean hunting it like I am?" Rax chuckled softly. "Exactly. The difference is, I've got the experience, been through worse than junkyard scraps. I know what this thing is, and I know what it can do." Jack's curiosity was piqued despite himself. "And what's that? Spill it." Rax stepped closer, lowering his voice. "That device isn't just some old tech. It's tied to something ancient, something powerful. If it falls into the wrong hands, it could change everything, or destroy it. Do you think Lena's relic is just a trinket? Think again." The revelation hit Jack like a punch to the gut. He remembered Lena's warning about the artifact's danger, but hearing someone else confirm it made his stomach churn. "So what now? We're both after the same thing. Might as well team up." Rax eyed him skeptically. "Don't trust easily, kid. But I'll tell you what, I've got a plan. We need to disable the ship's defenses, get to that core, and see what secrets it's hiding. If we're quick, we might just walk away with something valuable. And alive." Before Jack could reply, an alarm blared from the wreckage, red lights flashing wildly. The pulsating core flickered erratically, emitting a strange, rhythmic hum that vibrated through the space. The alien ship was waking up, defenses activating. Jack's stomach sank. This wasn't going to be easy. "Looks like time's running out," Rax said grimly. "We move now or we lose everything." Jack nodded sharply. "Agreed. But be careful. I don't want to end up as part of the wreckage." The two men moved cautiously, navigating through the debris toward the ship's entrance. As they approached, the alien structure seemed to pulse with energy, almost alive. Jack couldn't shake the feeling that this was no ordinary relic. This was something sentient, something that had been waiting for them. Suddenly, from behind a pile of debris, more figures emerged, armed and determined. They hadn't come to play nice. Jack's heart pounded harder. He exchanged a quick look with Rex. "Well, this just got a lot more complicated," Jack muttered. "Time to put everything on the line. Whatever this thing is, it's bigger than all of us combined. And if we're not careful, it'll be the last thing we ever do." His voice was steady, but inside, adrenaline surged as he prepared for the fight ahead. This was it, the moment to either unlock the secrets and walk away or get lost in the shadows forever. Jack's heart was pounding like a drum as he ducked behind a large piece of debris, trying to steady his breathing. The enemy figures had appeared suddenly, their weapons raised and eyes scanning the wreckage with cold precision. The flickering lights from the alien ship cast eerie shadows, making the scene even more surreal. Rax was already moving, darting between covers with a reckless abandon that made Jack both nervous and impressed. "Hold your fire," Rax barked, his voice echoing through the chaos. "We're not here to start a war yet." One of the armed figures stepped forward, voice muffled through a helmet. "You're trespassing," he said curtly. "Drop your weapons and surrender." Jack clenched his fists. "Surrender? Sorry, I don't think so," he muttered under his breath. He knew he had to think fast. Suddenly, a spark of inspiration hit him. Hey, we're not your enemies. We're just here for the same reason. You want that relic, don't you?" The figure hesitated, eyes narrowing behind the visor. "Are you trying to distract us? Drop your weapons, or we'll blow you to bits." Rax smirked behind his helmet. "Hey, buddy, I think you've got the wrong idea. We're not here to fight unless you force us. Besides, this ship's about to blow if we don't act quickly. We're all in the same boat." Literally. The tension was palpable. Jack saw a flicker of doubt flash across the soldier's face, but then he raised his weapon again. "You're not fooling anyone. Stay where you are." Suddenly, the alien ship's core pulsed violently, lights flickering wildly. The entire structure vibrated with a deep, ominous hum. Jack's stomach sank. The ship was awakening, its defenses were kicking in. The alarms blared louder, echoing in the confined space. His mind raced. He knew this wasn't just a simple salvage operation anymore. This was a dangerous game, and the stakes had just risen exponentially. "Time's running out," Rax said urgently, voice tense. "Either we move now or we're dead in the water." Literally. Jack nodded sharply, his determination firm. "Agreed. But we do this smart, quiet, and quick. No unnecessary firefights, at least, not yet." They pressed forward, navigating through the debris field with calculated precision. Jack kept glancing over his shoulder, expecting more hostiles to emerge at any moment. The alien ship loomed above them, pulsating with an unnatural glow like a living creature waiting to devour anyone who dared get too close. As they approached the entrance, the atmosphere grew even more tense. The doors, made of shimmering alien metal, seemed almost to breathe, shifting slightly as if alive. Jack reached out and touched the surface cautiously. It was cold, yet somehow pulsing with energy. He exchanged a glance with Rax. "This thing's not just tech. It's something else, something alive." From the shadows, more figures appeared, clad in dark suits, their weapons ready. They moved with purpose, closing in fast. Jack's instincts screamed at him to prepare for a fight, but he also knew that hesitation could cost them everything. "Looks like we're not the only ones after this," he said grimly. Rax drew his weapon, eyes locked on the approaching foes. "Then let's make sure they regret crossing us. We're about to unleash hell, but we're also about to uncover secrets that could change everything. Stay sharp. No matter what happens, we push forward because this relic, whatever it is, holds the key to a power nobody should mess with." A tense silence fell as they braced for the inevitable clash, knowing that, at this moment, every decision could mean the difference between survival and oblivion. Jack's grip tightened on his weapon, eyes blazing with resolve. This was it, the moment to unlock the mysteries of the alien ship, or be consumed by the darkness forever. The battle erupted in a burst of chaos as gunfire echoed through the wreckage, sparks flying from the clash of weapons and the desperate shouts of everyone involved. Jack darted between cover, narrowly avoiding a hail of bullets that ricocheted off the alien ship's shimmering surface. Rax was right beside him, firing off rounds with reckless abandon, his voice sharp and commanding amid the chaos. "Keep moving. We're almost there," he shouted, ducking behind a twisted piece of metal just as a bolt of energy scorched the air where he'd just been. Jack's eyes flicked toward the approaching enemies, their figures illuminated by the flickering lights and the glowing core of the alien vessel. Their weapons glinted menacingly, and it was clear they wouldn't back down easily. "They're closing in," Jack yelled, desperation creeping into his voice. "We need to hit that core before they overrun us." Rax nodded, eyes blazing. "Then let's make it count. Cover me." Without waiting for a reply, Rax sprinted forward, dodging fire as he headed straight for the ship's entrance, the door shimmering with otherworldly energy. Jack hesitated for a moment, then followed, knowing full well that every second mattered now. Behind them, the chaos intensified, shouts, gunfire, and the distant hum of the ship's awakening defenses. As they reached the threshold, the alien door began to slide open with a hiss, revealing a dark corridor flooded with an eerie, pulsating glow. Rax turned to Jack, a grim smile on his face. "This is it, the heart of the beast. We go in, disable whatever's powering this thing, and get out before it blows us all to bits." His tone was gritty, filled with adrenaline and a hint of sarcasm to mask the mounting tension. Jack nodded, gripping his weapon tighter. "Got it. But stay alert. We don't know what's waiting for us inside." The corridor stretched ahead, strange symbols and alien markings etched into the walls, glowing faintly under their flashlights. The air was thick with anticipation, every step echoing ominously in the confined space. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath their feet, and the ship shuddered violently. An ominous crackling filled the air as the core's hum grew louder, almost deafening. The ship was on the brink of catastrophe, and time was running out. Jack's stomach clenched. "We need to move faster," he urged. "That core's destabilizing. If it blows, we're all dead." Rax grinned nervously, trying to keep his cool. "Then, let's not waste another second." They pressed onward, navigating a maze of corridors and chambers filled with alien tech that looked like it belonged to some ancient, living organism rather than machinery. Every step brought them closer to the core and closer to danger. Suddenly, a door slid open ahead, revealing a room filled with blinking consoles and a pulsating device at its center. Jack approached cautiously, eyes scanning for controls. "This must be it," he murmured. "We disable this, and it's the end of the line." As Rax began fiddling with the alien interface, a loud growl echoed from behind. The door slammed shut, and figures emerged from the shadows. More armed enemies, their weapons trained and ready to fire. Jack cursed under his breath. "Great timing," he muttered. "Looks like we're not getting a moment's peace." Rax shot a glance over his shoulder, voice steady despite the chaos. "No problem. We fight or we die. Either way, we finish what we started." His fingers worked swiftly on the alien console, trying to override the ship's defenses while Jack prepared for the inevitable clash. The room erupted into a fierce firefight as bullets and energy blasts flew in every direction. Jack fought desperately, adrenaline surging through him, knowing that each second counted. The alien ship's core flickered violently, lights dimming and brightening erratically. It was a race against time. Disarm the device or watch the entire structure explode in a cataclysmic burst that could wipe out everything nearby. In the thick of the chaos, Jack's voice cut through. "We've got to finish this now. Keep them busy. I'll hold the line." His eyes burned with resolve, fighting through the onslaught. Rax's voice echoed back, grim and determined. Almost there. Just a few more seconds. Hold on. Finally, with a shudder and a blinding flash of light, the core went dark. The ship's defenses powered down, and the immediate threat was neutralized. The enemies, stunned and disoriented, began to retreat. Jack and Rax exchanged exhausted but triumphant looks. They'd done it. They'd survived and perhaps, in the process, uncovered the greatest secret of all. As the alien ship's hum settled into silence, Jack knew this was only the beginning. Whatever power lay within that relic, it had the potential to reshape everything, and he was determined to make sure it was used for good. And that was the end of the story. Comment below if you want the next chapter, and hit that like button. Please subscribe, turn on the bell, and as always, keep the last light burning.